Good evening, class. I would like to help you. This is Dr. Boris. I would like to help you on Module 4, Assignment 3. And this is not very complicated. By starting a new method we're going to use. We're going to use SPSS a lot more for the assignment in Module 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're going to start with Module 4, of course, like always. Module 4, and we read what is the assignment. This time it is Assignment 3. Assignment 3, we open and we look what is the Assignment 3 described as. And they tell us to look at the database, which is SPSS, and assignment file. Well, where do we find those things? We find them in doc sharing, like everything else. Rest of it is pretty simple. It's telling us how to create tables in APA style, how to bring the tables in Microsoft Word, etc. So here is how we find the files that are necessary for this particular module for assignment 3. We go to doc sharing, and at the very big first screen we go down and we find the assignment. First 3 files are the assignment files. Depends on what you study. Area of your study is business, counseling, or education. So we need to click and open the one we need, and we can save it on our computer so we can always open and look at it. Well, I decided to go with business for some reason, and I downloaded in my Word document. What it comes up is a description of the file and the details, instructions, what do we need to do in the assignments. Of course, there are 7 steps of testing hypotheses, and then we'll come with the Module 4 application assignments. And we're going to come back to that in a few seconds, and I will bring some other file that we need. Besides the Word document, we needed also a SPSS file. Where do we find the SPSS file? We need to go all the way up into the doc sharing again, and we happen to have for this term the file that open under the group of R7031A. We click on that one, and where are the files? Well, just scroll down a little, and you will find the SPSS file. I again open business file. Business.sav is the SPSS file that should be opened simply by clicking on it. You can save that file later on your desktop or your computer locally, wherever you want, so you don't have to go back and forth and download it all the times. This is how it looks. This is my business file, and I can go between data view and variable view. And where do I use the variable view? When I compare this to the description of my file from the Word document. Well, I'll go back now to the Word document, which is telling us what we need to do for the Module 4 Assignment 3. Well, we need to look at it, and it's telling us pretty detailed, giving us pretty detailed instructions with a couple of little hints that I'm going to give you. How do small companies compare to the major competitors? That's a question 1 based on our data set that we download from the doc sharing. We open that by using SPSS. How do small companies compare to the major competitor? The Trade Association magazine published a report that this company's major competitor accounts for about 60% of their small customer purchases. Is this company's usage different than their competitors? And then they're telling us now how to answer this question pretty much. They tell us use select cases to choose companies with less than 100 employees. That means use the firm size equals 0. Okay, then after that we run a single sample t-test using usage as a dependent variable, and 6 is the test value. And the rest of it comes with the SPSS module testing t-test that we use. So there's nothing we need to worry about number 3 particular. All right, let's try to select cases. So we're going to select cases with firm size equals 0. How do we do that? We click on the SPSS, then we click to Data, Then we click select cases. We just follow what is in here. Options are in here in the menus, and then we say, we can select. How do we select? If condition is satisfied, and I click on the if again, and I say firm size equals 0, and I click continue. Okay, so I did not do something right, so I'm gonna move this on and make sure that I'm doing the right thing here. Okay, the firm size equals 0. Why is this firm size equals 0? If I can't, let me go to variable view, and I'm gonna go to the firm size. Okay, it happened to be ordinal. I'm gonna make it scale, and I'm gonna go to data view, and I'm gonna go again, data, select cases, firm size, if condition is satisfied, if firm size equals 0, and I'll click continue. Now it works. So what do I need to do now? Okay, if I click OK, what's going to happen is the sum, of course, this output thing is going to come up and bother me a little bit, but I can get rid of it. And what's going to happen is in SPSS will cross all the records they have firm size 1. We're only going to keep the firm size 0. That's why, because they told us that they want us to use select case to choose companies with less than 100 employees, which is coded with firm size equals 0. So select case let us temporarily move this, remove this temporarily. It's not deleting it from the file. It's just blocking it from analyzing it. Now what we need to do is we're going to go to analyze, and then we have compare means, one sample t-test. Read the document, instruction document telling me what to do. And then what do I need to check here? I don't remember. Okay. Now using usage as a dependent variable and 60 is a test value. Dependent value. What the hell is that now? Well, that is actually one of the files, one of the variables in here. I have usage level, it's here, and I'll move it to test variable. Like this is a little bit of a confusion in terminology in SPSS and regular statistics. Yes, we use this as a dependent variable, as a test variable, and test variables and dependent variables are synonyms. They're called that way in other instances. So we're going to move this and consider this a test variable. Now test value we're going to put, it happened to be 60. It is coming from the assignment here in the Word document. So firm size equals 0. Run a simple test using usage as a dependent variable and 60 as the test value. Okay, then we can close, minimize this. We can click OK. And after a while, the results will come out. What are the interpretation of my results? On one simple sample statistics, it's a short descriptive information on our database, data set we use. Usage level has 27 cases. Mean happened to be 48.59. Standard deviation is standard error of mean. Now, one sample test results come out here. And we have usage level. Sorry, guys. Usage level. Usage level of the variable name, and then we have degree of freedom, t-test, and what's the most important part is sig of 0.000. That gives us the idea of interpretation. Since this is statistically significant finding, our testing of hypothesis will tell us that there is statistically significant difference between the usage of the company and the national mean, which is pretty simple, pretty understandable if you look at the mean in our case, which happened to be 48.5 versus test value that is 60. But this confirms that this is statistically significantly different. There's enough statistical evidence there is a difference between our usage in our company and overall average. Now, we need to go back to our data. I'm going to remove this because I don't need it. And before we go any further, we want to undo the select case. How do we undo the select case? We do it the same way as we selected it. Data, select cases, and there is a radio button that tells us all cases. I'm going to click on that one, click OK, and crosses are going to be removed. As you can see, everything is here, usage 0 and usage 1. And now we're going to go to the second assignment, which is in the Word document. Question 2, is there a difference between small and large companies in their overall satisfaction with the company as rated in January? Okay, I'm going to write down what are they asking me. Run an independent sample t-test. I know what that is going to be. Use size as independent. That's going to be a group that we use. Use overall satisfaction in January as the dependent variable. Okay, well, I think we know how to do it. We'll go to SPSS. We're going to go to Analyze, Compare Means, Independent Sample t-test, bingo, and then we need to say, what is the test variable? Dependent variables, satisfaction in June. Satisfaction in June. I'll click on this one, move it to dependent variable, and company, and let me see what, I don't remember what was the independent variable. Okay, let's see. Size is the independent variable. Size is an independent variable. Firm size is going to be used as independent variable. Oops, what is that now? This is asking us now to define groups. And we're going to click here, and we will say group 1 is 0, and group 2 is 1. And we're going to say continue. And if we're brave enough, we say a short prayer, and we can click OK. And that's going to throw at us the outcome of the test. Now, the interpretation of this test is slightly different, a bit more complicated, but in our favor for that matter. We have here the situation where we have descriptives again. Oil satisfaction in June for small of 27 of small companies is 5.1. For large of 23 of large companies is 4.27. Okay, now we need to look at an independent sample test. Left part of the table is 11's test of equality of variances. Since we compare two groups, we want to have those two groups to have similar variation, similar standard deviation. In this case, the test that is done automatically is 11's test for equality of variances. We'll double check if the groups that are compared have similar variance. And for that matter, if we call this null hypothesis, then we are expecting to keep the null hypothesis, meaning two standard deviations for two groups are very similar, and sig should be greater than 0.05. Since sig is greater than 0.05, we retain null hypothesis. The same way we did in assignment 1. Sig was 0, so we rejected the null hypothesis, so there was a difference between two values. So now, what is the test of the equality of means? what happened in those? Since SIG in those cases is also 0.001 and 0.000, both of values are less than 0.05, and here we can use the first row because equality variances are assumed because the SIG is greater than 0.05. We make a conclusion there is statistically significant difference between overall satisfaction in June between small and large companies. And then we'll answer our second assignment, second question for Module 4, Assignment 3. So we need to go and look what is the next question in our Word document. Has satisfaction with the manufacturer changed since the change in company ownership? Run the paired sample t-test. Use satisfaction in January, satisfaction in June as the variable pair. This is the easiest, technically easiest part of the assignment, but just a reminder, this is also called pre and post test, and it's described in the Word, in the PowerPoints, in the course room, in the Module 4, but we can use this instruction they told us and run the paired sample t-test. What is paired sample t-test? Means that sample has not changed from the beginning, the first test to the second test, and in this case the company is there, so satisfaction is measured over the same units in January and June, and we're comparing those. How do we compare them? Well, we look here. It says you run the paired sample t-test. Let's go do it. We go to SPSS, we go to Analyze, then we go to Compare Means, and then we go Paired Sample t-test. And then variables we need to compare are what? I forgot already. We're going to compare satisfaction in January and satisfaction in June. Okay, satisfaction in January is first variable. Satisfaction in June, June is going to be, okay, I made a mistake here, so I'm going to take this out and put overall satisfaction in January as variable. Okay, I made too many mistakes, so I'll clean it up. And I start all over again. Overall satisfaction in January is the first variable, and overall satisfaction in June is second variable. All we need to check is options. Is that 95% yes? We click continue. And if we click OK, we are going to have some output that will tell us something about paired sample test. And then again, overall satisfaction in January gives us two different means for two variables, and correlation, which is not very important in this particular moment, but it is positive correlation. It's statistically significant, which everything is positive. If it's statistically significant, that means we have enough statistical evidence to make conclusions or inferences. And paired sample test. Here there is no comparison of variables because we don't have groups. We are comparing two entire variables. And then we have pair 1, overall satisfaction in January, overall satisfaction in June. Then we look for the SIG value here, the P value in statistical terms, SIG in terms of SPSS terminology, and then we have 0.000. Conclusion will be there is statistically significant difference between overall satisfaction in January and overall satisfaction in June. In the meantime, there was an ownership change, and that means there was an improvement. Why improvement? Because overall satisfaction in June is much higher than overall satisfaction in January. And that will be it for tonight. If you need anything, send me an email or call me at 786-471-9877. Good night from Dr. Boris.